During the reveal of Kingdom Hearts 4, we got our first look at, well, a lot of things actually. Keyblade chains, free running, reaction commands, just to name a few. But what I want to look at is this option on the command menu. This translates to build. When I saw this option, my first thought was builds, as in different types of jobs. Jobs are the class systems in most Final Fantasy games, with builds being focused on specific stats per job. A paladin would have a defensive build, a black mage would have a magic build, and a dragon would have a carpet build. It's a floor tank meme for all you Final Fantasy 14 fans out there, which has a free trial up there. Stop! Anyways, before I go on further, hi, I'm Bio-Roxas. I love to make content on both Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. I love to take a closer look at animations and look at how combat systems work in games. Before I go any further in this video, I do want to make it clear that this is just a theory on what I want to see. Not even really a theory, actually, since I don't have a basis for it as well as no information to really go off of. I say that just in case this video happens to pop off. I don't want to see, people saying, oh, Bio said this, and and then they getting spread around as fact. So, complete theory. It's just something I would like to see, and yeah, cool. Let's move on with the video. Anyways, with different builds, you get a different experience in combat. A defense-focused build is going to probably slow down the flow of combat, since you'll be playing defensively and mostly countering as you learn attack patterns. A speed build will focus on movement and dodging attacks while looking for openings to deal quick hits. A strength build would obviously be focused on hard hits, and a magic build would encourage spells, and so on. This focus on stats and builds is not foreign to Kingdom Hearts, actually. Let's take a look at this series real quick to show my point. The numbered titles are probably the best place to start off of. The most basic form of a build comes in the form of the staff, sword, and shield you are asked to pick at the beginning of each game. This choice decides what abilities you will get first, as well as what stats will be prioritized. So you can choose to be a strength build or a magic or defense one. These builds change some of the beginning levels in terms of playstyle, but usually end up evening out as you play, and most people probably won't even really see a huge difference between the playstyles. Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically kind of built off of this initial thing, and has a great example of strength and magic builds through the drive form system. The unique abilities and boost to your stats with 2 Keyblades pretty drastically changes up the playstyle for each drive. People will usually find a drive form in the playstyle they like and stick with that one, most likely leveling up that particular drive form, increasing its abilities, and increasing the length of time you can stay in that form. It can be a little over-restrictive, such as completely locking out magic in Valor form, or locking out ground combos in Master form. It does a good job of focusing on each individual playstyle though, in my opinion, despite being a little bit restrictive. Kingdom Hearts 3 had a very simple idea of builds and its form change system. Every Keyblade form change has a form that has its own unique set of abilities. Element form is that magic build, granting unique abilities like Magic Combo Thrift, which reduces your MP cost the longer your magic combo goes on, as well as Magic Galvanizer, which increases your damage the longer your magic combo continues. This encourages the use of magic, obviously, and gives a boost to your magic abilities. Strike form changes are focused on hard-hitting attacks and have the Omega Finale ability that lets you skip right to your combo finishers at the push of a button. There are also defensive and speed-focused builds as well, but KH3's focus on a more casual playstyle negated most strategy involved in these different builds. Most players may not have even picked up on the builds or abilities due to the short duration you are in form changes. This makes it hard to utilize these builds in a strategic way other than just attacking to get out as much damage before you shift back to your base form. I would love to see a more fleshed out strategic system implemented in Kingdom Hearts 4, which we'll look at after we look at a couple of the games. Birth by Sleep is one I want to briefly point out. This one has a build focus per character. Most of the abilities and attacks are going to be different for each character as you continue throughout the game. I think this went to the extreme and completely locked you to one build or the other though. Right, so Terra is the strength build, Ventus is the speed build, and Aqua is the magic build. Obviously as you level up, it doesn't really matter what your build is, but obviously in the beginning there's definitely a specific playstyle you want to do to stay alive. Now let's look at Days in the DS. Days is probably the best example of a build system in Kingdom Hearts. Your Keyblades in this are defined by whatever gear you slot into the panel system, which greatly changes how you approach a mission. Some are great for magic-focused playstyles, some are good for ground, others for air, just to name a couple of the basic tiers of builds. The KH Wiki actually has a great list of all the different kinds of gear if you want to take a look. I'll warn you, there are a lot. All of these come with their own unique combos and modifiers that you can't change, but it puts a great focus on strategy when choosing the best Keyblade and build for each mission. There are even mission notes that let you know what kind of build you should be trying to use before you set off. Don't even get me started on mission mode, with the different organization members who are actually all based on different jobs from Final Fantasy. That's a video for another time. So, with that very, very brief look through the franchise, job builds are not really a new concept in Kingdom Hearts, though in my opinion it has either been too restrictive or too trivial to matter besides dates. What I want for Kingdom Hearts 4 is a system that lets us move into a form with a higher focus on these different job builds. I understand that a time limit keeps an overpowered system in check, but if they can build this out in a way that doesn't need that time limit, I think that would be the best option. Or at least one where you can upgrade how long that system lasts. I think that was great about Kingdom Hearts 2, right, where it starts off very powerful but really short in time frame, and then as you continue to grow these abilities and these forms, you get longer and longer stretches of time that you can play with them. I think that was great, and I think Kingdom Hearts 3 should have had a similar system. Honestly, that's probably one of the biggest detractors with Kingdom Hearts 3. It was over so fast that experimentation was not really encouraged. The base combat also didn't change much when shifting into your form changes to keep the flow going, so it hindered how much they could build it out. Having a complex system that gives you a lot of options and lets you choose which builds to focus on is probably a pipe dream for Kingdom Hearts, but I would love to see Sora using this build command to create a lance and shift into a Dragoon job with his jumps and piercing abilities increased, or having him create an axe and go into a warrior or berserker build. The form change system gave us just the smallest taste of Sora switching up his base weapon, and I would love to see that more expanded in Kingdom Hearts 4. We already got a look at the drill, which is a reaction command to that certain boss fight. I would love to see a system where instead of just reacting to a boss and hitting back with a weapon, that we actually, get a list of items or weapons that we can choose that then fundamentally change our playstyle. I know, probably a pipe dream. It'll probably be like the summon system for Kingdom Hearts 4, but I think I've extrapolated enough on non-existent information. What would you want to see with this new build command? Let me know down below. If you enjoy this, please share it with someone or drop a like. It really helps the channel out a ton. If you want to see more Kingdom Hearts 4 content, well, there's not much out there, so I haven't made much content on it. I do have an analysis on the reveal trailer if you want to check that out. I also make content on Final Fantasy XIV. I love that game. It's really fun. The animations of that game are phenomenal. There are cards on screen, so click on what you think looks interesting. See you in the next video. Oh, and subscribe or hit that bell,